أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Assalamu alaikum. Yesterday, for those of you who joined us, we ended at where Imam first camped his tents when he first got to Karbala, very near the river of Furat. However, on the 4th of Muharram, Yazid's army approaches Imam and asks them to move their tents away from the water supply. Upon hearing this, Hazrat Abbas angrily removes his swords and draws a line on the ground. And he's talking to Yazid's army. He says, for those of you who don't know me will now know me. And for those of you who do have the guts, try and cross this line and you'll see who I am. It is known by all of us that when Hazrat Abbas was such a brave person that when he used to sit on his horse, his feet used to touch the ground. People were afraid of Hazrat Abbas alayhi salam, and therefore everyone took a step back. However, Imam Hussein approached Hazrat Abbas and told him, "Oh my brother, let's move this line, let's erase this line and let's move away from the water supply. We're not here to fight." Ever since the Prophet's time, it is always known that the Prophet's family and his progeny and the teachings of Islam never taught us violence. They never taught us to attack someone or to hurt someone. And therefore Imam teaches us patience here where he moves back. And from Hazrat Abbas we learn loyalty on how we listen to Imam despite knowing the problems they would face after in the coming days. Imam alayhi salam and his family moves to this place right behind me, a place called Kaimaga, and it's the same place for those of us who have not been blessed to go to Ziyarah. Inshallah, may Allah bless us all. If we go to Ziyarah today, the place is called Kaimaga, and it is the place right behind me. It is the place where Imam camped. When they got to this place, Hazrat Abbas alayhi salam dug a trench around the area. The trench was wide enough and deep enough such that no one could have access over it, and the only access into and out of it was Hazrat Abbas alayhi salam. This is where they camped until the day of Ashura. For today we'll be learning about Habib ibn Mazahir. Habib ibn Mazahir used to be the childhood friend of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. It is reported in several books that he was the best friend of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. When they used to live back when they were children, it is known that whenever Imam Hussein used to walk, Habib ibn Mazahir used to walk over the same steps. That's how their childhood friendship was. When Imam Hussein reached Karbala, there was no sign of friends coming for him, there was no signs of ashabs coming for him or companions coming for him. And Habib ibn Mazahir did not know the whereabouts of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Therefore, Imam Hussein alayhi salam writes him a letter. The letter reaches Kufa and reaches Habib ibn Mazahir when Habib ibn Mazahir was having dinner with his wife. The letter, a knock is heard on his door and he receives a letter, and when he receives the letter he stops eating and he starts crying. His wife asks him, oh my husband, oh Habib, what has happened, what's in this letter? And Habib says, this is a letter from my best friend Hussein, he's calling me for his help in Karbala. His wife tells him, oh Habib, then you have to leave, you have to go, he's the Imam of your time, he's calling for you, you need to go. Because of the curfew that was going on in Kufa on the orders of Ibn Ziyad, Habib instructs his slave to leave in the middle of the night and to meet him on the border of the city of Kufa. The slave leaves, and because Habib couldn't leave due to the curfew, the slave leaves and reaches the border of Kufa and waits for his master. Several hours pass and there's no sign of Habib ibn Mazahir. And when Habib ibn Mazahir approaches the horse and the slave, he overhears the slave talking to his horse, and the slave is saying this, oh horse of Habib, if your master does not arrive here on time, I shall take you and I shall go to save the Imam of the time, I shall go to help the Imam of the time. However, Habib reaches there and Habib now tells his slave, oh my slave, you are now free, I free you, you can do whatever you want and you can go wherever you want. The slave then tells Habib, oh my master Habib, I've served you for so many years, when a time comes in my life when the Imam needs me, when I can fight for the sake of Islam, you're telling me not to join you, I shall join you to Karbala. The horse and they start the journey to Karbala. It is reported in several books that there was signs of happiness every single time in Yazid's army, but the only signs of cry from Imam's army and signs of worship and sounds of worship. However, when Habib arrives in Karbala, there's a sound of takbir and the sound of happiness approaches. Upon hearing that, Bibi Zainab from her tents calls out to her slave and she says, go see what's going on. Why is there a sense of happiness in our tents after so long? how is this happiness coming about? And when she reaches outside, she finds out that Habib ibn Mazahir has come for the help of his best friend, Imam Hussein alayhi salam. She goes to Bibi Zainab and she tells him, "Oh my master, oh Zainab, the Habib has come, Imam Hussein's childhood friend has come, Habib ibn Mazahir." Upon hearing that, Bibi Zainab says, "Oh Fizza, send my salams to Habib ibn Mazahir." When Fizza takes her salams to Habib ibn Mazahir, she says, "Oh Habib, Bibi Zainab is giving you some salams." Upon hearing that, Habib falls on the ground. He starts weeping and he says, "Oh my master, what time has come in your life that your sister Zainab is sending salams on me?" On the 10th of Muharram, Habib ibn Mazahir, see, this was a strategic war. So Habib ibn Mazahir led the left wing of Imam Hussein's army. It is reported in several books that he fought bravely onto the battle of Karbala. However, time comes when when Yazid's army surrounds him and they throw him on the floor. Upon him falling on the floor, he calls out to his friend, his master Hussein, "Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah. Accept my last salutations, O my master." Upon hearing that, Imam Hussein leaves the tents rushing towards Habib ibn Mazahir. He reaches there, he talks to Habib, they have a small conversation that no one knows of, and Habib passes away. It is reported that Habib ibn Mazahir is today buried in Ganj Shahida in Karbala. Thank you very much. If you have any more questions, put them in the comments section and we shall try and answer them. And please join us tomorrow for explanation on day 3. Inshallah, we'll be talking about Hazrat Hur alayhi salam.